Welcome back to Forza Horizon 5. It's another week in Mexico, and this week we can unlock a legend. This is the Mercedes E55 AMG. All we have to do to unlock the thing is get 20 points during this week's festival playlist. Real quick before we jump into the new Mercedes though, the snowman outfit and the DBR1. Wait, I don't own that? Yoink and yoink. This week's backstage pass vote is, oh, that's gonna be a tough one, the 765 LT and a Vanquish versus an F8 and the Brad DeBerty Mustang. I'm a McLaren simp, so I'm going with the McLaren, but the Brad DeBerty Mustang is also very, very cool. Let's go unlock our brand new Mercedes and give it a go. 100 miles an hour, was that good enough? It was! 14 minutes later, the E55 is officially ours. Let's go. This is my brand new E55 AMG Wagon. What an absolute monster. Right out of the gate, we've got 469 horsepower. We weigh 4,500 pounds from a 5.4 liter V8 supercharged engine. This thing is goddamn insane. This wouldn't be an AR12 video without any fun facts about the what? I'm a take two, Andy. This wouldn't be an AR12 video without any fun facts about the E55 AMG. This is the W211 generation of E-Class. They named it after a postal code. It's weird. Can I just read you off some of the statistics that this car holds? The sedan version of this, at the time it was made, was the world's fastest sedan production car. The wagon version, world's fastest wagon. It was also the best-selling AMG car of all time, right up until the C63 came out like 6 years later or something like that. The reason this car is so crazy is because this car absolutely changed the game. This is the car that truly started like the German horsepower wars. This thing came out and dropped 470 horsepower on people in 2006. That would be like today coming out and dropping 1,000 horsepower wagon that people could buy. This thing was actually so powerful. The engine in the E55 was so powerful and so torquey, in fact. All of the other like Mercedes and like the E-classes had 7-speed gearboxes at the time. This only has a 5-speed gearbox because, and I quote, the regular 7 speeds could only handle 600 foot-pounds of torque. That wasn't good enough. So they threw the 5-speed in that could handle like 800 foot-pounds of torque. It is an absolute legend and it is incredible. Can I just say something right at the start? Because I need to get something out of my system. I don't like the look of this car. I hate double headlights and I hate the Mercedes sticky out badge. Wait, this thing had carbon fiber air filters? Look at all the wood. Now that I've got my hot take out of the way, we can jump into the customization for this thing. I can already see everybody's going to be writing their comments going, no, Nick, this car's actually a timeless classic design. I don't like it. I don't know why. I don't like it, okay? Engine swaps for our Mercedes. We've got our stock 5.4 liter V8. We can swap in an Audi R8 V10, a racing V8, and what? That's not the CLK GTR engine, is it? Wait, no, that's the Zonda? On the bright side, I think we just found the title of this video, but we'll come back to that. A Zonda swapped engine is pretty insane. Should I make it all-wheel drive to be like a modern E63? Wait, do they still make the E63? Chat, they don't make the E63 anymore, do they? They do? That's not a good sign. I haven't seen one in years. Anyways, moving on. We've also got some Forza era, which don't even think for a second we're gonna put on this thing. I think like we usually do, let's start things off with an A-class build. It's generally just a good place to start things off with. So let's go for these rally tires. I'm actually a big fan of these Mercedes wheels. I love the star wheels. Then we've got some engine spacers. How much do they sticky out? Very good. It's always nice when the developers nail the engine spacers. That looks simply lovely. Then we've got some drivetrain upgrades. I guess because we swapped in the all-wheel drive, we've already got a 6-speed gearbox, so no need to worry about that. I also really like the stock AMG brakes on this thing. However, as cool as they are, do I want to upgrade them to like those? Maybe I'll just go 1 notch for sport brakes. That's probably okay, right? I don't think I want to go racing suspension. Maybe let's just go sport suspension for 1 PI. Anti-roll bars in the front, front, anti-roll bars in the rear, and then weight reduction should be quite important for this thing. 3,600 pounds. You know what? I'm gonna do that, and then we're just gonna get some horsepower upgrade. I think that should be good. God Gamer, A800 right out of the gate. 555 horsepower for the E55. Good amount of horsepower. Let's finish things up with a lovely little paint job. I think we do need to get this thing in like a Mercedes. Mercedes are honestly just a bunch of boomers with these paint jobs, huh? I'm middle-aged, I do accounting for a living, and my life is incredibly boring. It's not even that the colors are ugly, they're just so boring. You cannot tell me for a second that this car wouldn't look like a true 10 out of 10 sitting outside a gray office building on a rainy day. Tell me I'm wrong, and if you do, you're a liar. Back to the good things about the Mercedes E55 555 horsepower. Did you know you can actually get an absolute steal on these things in real life? If you try to buy this thing in America, one of them's gonna cost you like $35,000 to $40,000. But you can import these things from Japan for like mid-20s. A $20,000, 470 horsepower Mercedes AMG Wagon. Name a better car for the value. I'll wait. Chat says in Canada you can import it. The US has to wait a few more years. You actually don't, because the US had these cars for sale originally. You don't actually need to wait your 25 years, your 20 years or whatever. You can already just import them. Oh, you want to know another cool feature about this car? Because it was the early 2000s, this car came with a telephone. I know, it's pretty cool, isn't it? It also came with a 6 CD changer. It really is like the most boomer of boomer cars. Let me guess, does it have a cassette tape as well? People watching this video won't even know what a cassette tape is, but I'm gonna leave that joke in there because the sophisticated audience will appreciate that. Okay, let me show you something cool about the 6 CD changer. You see this button right here, this silver button? It doesn't even look like a button. When you click it though, the entire like climate controls opens and moves up, and then beneath it, that's your 6 CD changer. That's the most over-engineered German thing I have ever seen in my life, and I absolutely love it. I will be honest, our first build didn't actually go that well. Like, it was good, but it wasn't great. I think it's now time we turn the E55 into the ultimate sleeper car. If you don't know what a sleeper car is, it's a car that looks normal. Some might even call it ugly and boring. Couldn't be me. Underneath the boring bodywork is an unbelievable engine and incredible performance. I'm gonna swap in the racing V8. I don't want to go for the V10 or the V12 because that would just change the sound too much and it would kind of give it away that it's a different engine. So we're not going to do that. I'm also going to get twin turbos on the thing because everybody like One of the only ways you'll be able to tell that this car is not stock is because it's going to run racing slick. I'm also not going to change the wheels. I'm also not going to change the brake. I'm not even going to give it racing suspension because that makes it too low and looks too different. Can we get a little bit of horsepower to get to the top of S1 nicely? 1,200 horsepower in the E55 with a V8 twin turbocharged. This is gonna be extremely quick. All right, boys, we do need to go fully sleeper spec though, so I'm just gonna paint this thing black. True Mercedes black to keep it like a sleeper car. Chat said this would be the perfect mafia car. Someone in chat says, I feel like there's a body bag in the back. Now I'm starting to understand why people like the look of this car. It looks great at nighttime. Anyways, let's just go send it. See, I've got a criminal. Oh, he's slow. Anyways, let's just go. Let's just send it. See, first victim is claimed. Let's just see if this thing's any good now. 1,200 horsepower. Bro, this is so fast in a straight line. It doesn't have any grip. Cornering is simply an afterthought. We've really gone for the high speed and the absolute insanity launch. 70 miles an hour, full gas. 100 miles an hour in like 3 seconds. You think the BMW boy is quick? Nope, goodbye. I'm a Mercedes wagon. The corners aren't the greatest. as you might be able to tell. But boy, is it fun to drive. Golden says, is it rally wagon time? I think that's a good idea. I don't know if I want to race it though. A-class off-road or S1 off-road? Golden says we should do A-class off-roading. If I'm going to go A-class off-roading, I'm just going to throw the off-road race 869. Nice. I had really good luck when I used the Audi R8 in a challenge a couple of weeks ago, and I won because, I mean, God Gamer. It has nothing to do with the engine. I'm just obviously a God Gamer. I'll use the same engine just, you know, to honor it. And if we can get it to the top of A-class, oh, I might just need to get some thicker front tires. We've got 650 horsepower, 3,500 pounds with off-road chunky tires. Do you think anybody's made any cool, like, touring car paint jobs for this? Everyone apparently has the same creativity as Mercedes does when coming up with a new paint. Apparently, the game doesn't think the Mercedes E55 is as legendary as I do. Don't worry about that. We're fine. Let's just absolutely send it and go. We're driving... The acceleration isn't great at the moment, I will be honest. However, as soon as we get going and as soon as we get off-road, this thing will come alive with the chunky off-road race tires. Use all the off-road available, then up the hill, no braking. It's always nice to take a Mercedes out to Kapalapa. It's almost like a cruise ship. Once it gets going, it's impossible to stop. Very slow initially. Send it through here. Little bit of brake, hand brake to make the corner. Beautiful. Use that guy as a wall. Thank you. He's a BMW. Fine. It's basically what they're meant for. Fellow Mercedes man, could you move? This thing is lovely off-road, bro. There's no way we're gonna actually claim that the E55 best version of the car is a cross-country rally racer, Dakar style build. I mean, I guess we'll take it. It's not bad. See, I told you the game can get bent, telling me I'm losing several races in a row. Chat says, hey, Nick, did you know at the launch of this car, it was the second fastest quarter-mile car of its price point, only losing to the Dodge Viper? Wait, and it did that while being rear-wheel drive? Are you kidding me? On the topic of being a bit crazy, I think it's time that we let the AMG's hair down a little bit. Let's reset it to default. We're not going to use anything that we just had in it. Time for the Zonda engine, baby. And twin turbos. This is a really, really, really bad idea, boys. Zonda swapped Mercedes AMG drift car. Jeez, look at the stance with drift suspension. That is insane. 1,100 horsepower. So technically we're down on power compared to where we were before, but we're rear-wheel drive drift car now. I love how Nick hasn't changed the wheels once. You do not mess with perfection, which is also why I refuse to put the rear wing or the front splitter on this thing. It's already ugly enough. I think if I put the rear wing and the front splitter on, I would be violently ill on stream and then I'd get banned. Chat says paint the spokes black. That'd be like painting the Mona Lisa with a hoodie. You don't do that. I think somebody was personally offended by what I said about the Zonda V12 is certainly something, isn't it? That is so wrong, except it is actually an AMG engine, so technically we haven't broken any rules here, okay? I don't know what to tell you. Honestly, though, I've got to say, this drives incredibly well. Like, so nicely, it's not even funny. 175k in rear wheel drive. All right, give it one more go and we'll really push it this time. Reverse. It counts. It was slightly backwards, or at least 90 degrees. It could be backwards in my mind, okay? It's such a nice car to slide. Like, don't get me wrong. It's a great, like, off-road racer. It's a fun car to even go and race and turn into the ultimate sleeper car, but it is such a lovely drift car. I wasn't expecting that, but I guess I should have. The fact that you can just come into the corner, 1,000 horsepower, and just hang it out like no one's business is awesome. And it can do really nice 360s too. Really, really nice. I think people are gonna like this car. That is awesome.